figure it all out.
Okay, awesome. Well, first of all, thanks for coming back after last night and then going through what you went through today. Thank you for coming back. My goal here tonight is to cover a lot about the course that you experienced and help you do a good job of processing it. Talking to people, like some people were very happy with their experiences today, and some people were not so happy with their experiences today. And my goal here is to sort of get you in a good place mentally about the course, take away some lessons learned, hopefully do a better job of riding tomorrow, and then even do and ultimately have a better race on race day because of it. That's really why we're here. There's totally chairs over here, like you don't have to. I'm not going to call people out.
Sorry, we're late.
Oh no, that was late. Okay, so first of all, who rode 2 loops today? Yay! Okay, who rode some flavor of loops today? Out there. So okay, almost everybody rode. Okay, awesome. So by Lake Placid standards, today was pretty much as good as it gets. It does not get much better than today. We had a cool start. We had warm temps. We had some wind, but not really gusty wind. The wind can really gust on you on the descent. And I think, to check with Bob Arsenal, Bob's here. I think Bob's here. He's maybe still swimming. I think there was technically a tailwind on that climb back into town. I saw some flags definitely pointing up the hill, which made me a very happy man. So it probably depends on the time of day, right? Probably makes sure on that. But at the end of the day, it was pretty good. For those of you who raced here before, or those of you who are local, you know that the weather here is highly variable and usually not friendly. And so we actually had a pretty good day by standards. So I'm hoping that doesn't mean that we used all of our good day credits before race day, and we get a good day on race day. But regardless, know that from a weather perspective, that was pretty good. Looking ahead at tomorrow, just as a side note, because I did look at the weather, it looks like there's more chance of rain moving in tomorrow over the course of the day. So we should have a dry start, but it may end up getting wetter over the course of the day or for your second loop. So just plan accordingly with your stop and also your comfort level. There's definitely more seats in the back over there. Or 2 right here. So, let's talk about the course, okay? The bike course here is definitely faster than it was the old course. The old course on Hazelton Road was definitely slower and a lot more technical, and I think a lot more dangerous and a lot harder for them to marshal. So going down to Austin Forks is actually pretty cool. But as you discovered today, heading out of town is no joke. You get about 3 seconds of being really excited about being on your bicycle before it becomes a pretty serious amount of work to get yourself over that first hill. As I said to you yesterday, that is pretty much the longest sustained climb that you will hit all day. It's from the bottom of that ski jump all the way up until you get the first drop on the other side. The road conditions out there are not so great. I got a flat tire over there in some crack in the road, and I know some other people had some flat tires as well. How many people got flat tires today? Just curious. 3, 4? Okay, 4. That's pretty good odds, actually. So, heading out of town, everybody remember I said that the yellow truck sign is where we officially start going downhill. Until you hit that point in time, you've got a lot of rollers and everything like that. When you think about your day on race day and also tomorrow, your goal between the start here and the top of that point up there is to go as easy as you possibly can and get into a good rhythm. So what I think about mentally as I'm heading out on that course is, okay, where am I at? How do I feel? And today, I didn't really have didn't have any go juice in the legs today when I started. And it took a long time for me to start to feel good. But since I know the course, I'm not so worried about it. So instead, what I do is I look at my landmarks. Because I know all the different landmarks. I know the maple syrup sign on the side of the road. I know the road on the side. I know there's like a tanning place on the left, right? Rent a cabin, get your tan, right? How handy, right? 2 for 1. So all those little benchmarks, and I'll talk about a lot of them today, those are so critical for you to sort of put your day in perspective. Because what a lot of people do is they show up on this course and say, I want to bike 6 hours. 6 hours divided by 2 is 3. So I need to be back here by 3 hours. I need to be down at the bottom at 1.5. And you start setting these time goals that if the wind shows up, or it's wet, or whatever it may be, you may not reach those goals. And all of a sudden you're feeling bad about your day. You have no idea how you're doing relative to everyone else. It might be just a bad day for everybody. If you're already taking yourself mentally out of the game, you're going to have a long experience. So heading out of town, you've got several climbs. There's a couple spaces out there. The road is just a mess. Yeah. No, thank you. It's kind of helpful, actually. I'm sort of bonking, so just no bad words over here, because I'll start saying those as well. It's really bad. I've never seen it this bad on the climb out of town. And there were some people who were dutifully sticking to the right side of the white line. I think I passed one or two people in the middle of the road. I think on the descents and stuff like that, if you look behind you and there's no cars coming on the descent, on those little rollers out there, it's okay to move over and go down the hill, again, because you're moving quickly, the cars have more time to adjust, you have more time to adjust. Just be smart about it. But there's no sense in riding through total crap on the side of the road there, so just be smart about it. There is a false flat section out there along the way, a couple places where you think you're going to be going flat, not so flat at all. It's actually kind of a little bit of a climb. But when you do hit that sign, everybody noticed today, right? You've got a quick drop, a dip to the left, right? You pick up some speed, and then it kind of levels out again. You got to go bumpers through the lake. A lot of people don't like to shift on those little rollers on the lake. And for me, I'm kind of on the edge. I could still stay in my big chain ring, but I don't, maybe I could power over those hills. Again, be smart about your whole day. It's still very early. Instead of thinking about how to Mickey Mouse your gears better, remember to look at the lake and see what the lake is doing and see how you feel. When you start the full descent, how many people were kind of a little freaked out by the descent today? We did the descent. It's totally fine. Like whatever. I was freaked out. The descent is a legit descent, right? And I think I said this yesterday, but now that you've all been on it, I can give a little more context. I think what's really challenging about it is you can see the road in multiple places, or you can see for a good distance, but the road is always turning. It never does that friendly, it just kind of bottoms out into this nice little drop. Anyone can go 40 miles an hour if they can see where they're going. It's not so much fun when you can't see where you're going. Figuring out how you want to descend is a function of how comfortable you are on the bike. I meant to say this before to you as well, but just in general, the race is not won on the descent. Okay? The race matters after mile 18 on the run. So do the descent that makes the most sense for you. I have, my first race that I ever did here, I saw a guy crash out his bike on the descent because he just freaked out from the aero bars and did this ridiculous, bounce out of the aero bars and grab both brakes at the same time. And it was like somebody just pulled a ripcord. He was like, bing, and his bike he just flipped his bike because it just stopped. And he went off on the side of the road. They have crews over there and everything. But in general, what you don't want to do is put yourself in a position where you're not so comfortable. That said, this weekend's a great opportunity to do the course a couple times, and I do recommend on race week, on say Thursday, sweet talking someone into letting you ride from your place up here in your full kit with all your wheels and your stuff on it, and doing the descent in your full race kit, and riding maybe 10 minutes at the bottom or something like that. Have them meet you down there and bring you back up again, so you get a sense of the race in your race kit and everything's all lined up. Okay. As you're heading down, you notice that there's a couple quick turns, and then it levels out again through all that sort of buy your Adirondack furniture here place. It's very fast through there, but if you're comfortable staying in your aero bars, you're actually, the more contact points you have with your bicycle, the more stable your bicycle is. Okay, and I'm going through this mental exercise because I saw some people today descending that kind of looked a little freaked out. So you have to pick out. You're going to pick how you want to descend at the start of the hill. You don't want to be making decisions at 40 miles an hour about maybe my hand should be over here or over there, because that starts to introduce a lot of shakiness to your bicycle. Okay, so the key points are when you're descending, one foot always down. So one leg is straight, just like you're going to take a turn. One leg is straight, and your butt is firmly planted on the saddle. Whether you have your hands in the hoods or you're in the aero bars, whatever it is, you've got those contact points as well. So you've got two up front, you got your butt in the back, and your foot down at the bottom. You have 4 points of contact with your bicycle. Okay, I don't want to see anyone doing my pedals are parallel, my butt is off the seat, because that allows me to get my head 2 inches lower in the front to be faster. What that does is it's removing the heaviest part of you from your bicycle, which has helped keep you stable if there's wind or anything else that's gusting for you. Okay, that's why you see even the guys in the tour when they're being crazy and they're doing stuff like sitting on their top tube or whatever it is that they do, they're still sitting on their top tube, right? So it's so important. So pick your place that you want to be in and stick with your place. If you want to turn at high speed, two things you need to do. One is you need to look where you want to go. Don't look at the rock in the middle of the road or the crack in the middle of the road. Look where you want to go. That helps one. And number two, use your knees, okay? And a lot of people don't know about this, but if you've ever watched like, well, not that I watch it, but if you've ever seen like motorcycle racing or whatever, like the Grand Prix type stuff, they're always swinging their knees way out and getting way over their body, right? Their body over the top of their knee. So if I'm just sitting in my aero bars and I'm bombing down the hill and I see the road curves to the left a little bit, I don't start introducing like my wheel turning, right? That breaks the plane of my bicycle, makes my bicycle unstable. So I just put the outside leg down, just like I'm taking a turn, my inside leg is up, and I just put that knee out to the side. I'm just taking a little tiny bit of weight and I'm just moving it over to the left. And as a result, I move to the left, okay? And the same thing to the right. If I want to go to the right, I switch legs, pedal backwards, my knee goes out to the right, and I move to the right. It's very subtle, it's very simple. And it's usually enough to make the turns on the descent, except for maybe like that last turn at the very, very bottom, which is that sweeping left. But we'll get to that in a minute. So pick your place, wherever you're going to be in, and tomorrow when you're going down this hill, you're going to try this little knee thing. You can try it on some of the hills on the way there as well. But what's nice about it is it's a very simple way to hold your line, not change anything on the front end of your bicycle as you're going down. If you do need to brake, I tell people alternate your brakes, okay? You don't want to just use your back one or just use your front one. I kind of just toggle, it's like you're kind of pumping your brakes. I kind of just toggle them until I feel comfortable with my brakes. You never want to be grabbing your brakes, as I mentioned earlier, okay? So you can toggle your brakes. When you level out, you get a chance to kind of pedal and regroup in there, and then you go down again. The second half of the hill is much shorter. You've got like, a turn to the right, and then it's the big sweeping turn to the left, and then the right again, and you're down into Keene. It's a much broader turn, and you pick up a lot more speed. It looks scarier than when you get into it, so you're sweeping to the left, looks scary, but you're fine. And then there's a turn to the right. So how many people came pretty close to overshooting on that turn to the right before heading into Keene? That last turn. You did? Okay, at least you're being honest. That is a big sweeping turn, and it requires you to be really on top of either going slowly or really on top of how you're handling your bicycle, because most people hit that turn fine, but it curves just a little sharply at the end before you do that little pop-up, and a lot of people end up sweeping wide on race day. Please be aware of that, that there will be people who will be riding down, they seem to be doing just fine in front of you, and then all of a sudden they all just kind of move left, like somebody said, go left. So be very cautious of that part. It dips down and it kind of rises up a little bit. For most people, if you've got some momentum down that hill, you don't even need to shift out of your big chainring. You can just soft pedal up over that quick little riser and down into Keene. So don't even think about, you see a hill, don't think about shifting. Just roll right over that hill and you're into Keene. Okay? And you made it. Congratulations. Down the hill. Very simple. When you take that left, now you're in, happy, aero land, right? Because it's super flat. There's a couple rollers, but nothing that bad. And it's beautiful. The first lap on race day and the first lap any day is absolutely gorgeous. I mean, we were flying through there this morning. It felt like we weren't even pedaling. Second loop was another story, obviously. We'll get to that. But as you're rolling down through that section, that's your time to recalibrate, okay? That's about, you're almost on the 20-mile mark. You're maybe a couple miles away from 20 miles, maybe 4 or 5 miles away. And you will arrive at the hour mark, at the 20-mile mark, way before you ever thought you should be at 20 miles on a bicycle in your life. And it's easy to get fired up about that, like, oh, I got here in 22 miles an hour, or I got here in, that's not something you really want to be holding on to. What I do is, when I get to the bottom of the hill, I hit the interval button on my power meter, so I reset, because that was all junk. I had to go up and then I went down, game over, right? It's like series tied, 2-2. Let's start over again, and I'm going to ride from now, because this is where I'm really riding. So I forget about all that data, hit the interval button, so I get a new set of data, and then I start riding on the flat section. It's very fast. There's a couple of rollers, but in general, if you're very good with using all of your gears, you'll be fine getting through that entire section. I think both sections I was able to average pretty consistent, even with the wind on the second time, pretty consistent through that whole section. It's very flat, it's very fast.